In this episode, we are at the Buena Vista Historic Cemetery in the northwest region of the United States. And I came upon this cemetery real fast. It was just kind of like a spur of the moment kind of trip, but I'm so glad I did. This is a very beautiful cemetery, and I'll give you guys a look at it right now, and then we'll go into some of the stones that really caught my attention. So let's start. We're going to start at the very far end of the cemetery, and we're going to work our way across. And I'm going to point out some of the stones that I found really compelling. These first two are super ornate and just hauntingly beautiful. As you can see, the top of this one has a lot of detailing. And this is the stone commemorating the life of Laura, the beloved wife of Henry Spicer. She was 27 years old when she passed away. And the one right next to it is even just as striking. I love the aged lines down the stone itself, but it does have some very detailed work of its own that goes all the way down the side and the bottom. Don't even get me started on the view. We've got a beautiful view behind us, but also the morning fog is here. It's kind of burned off a little bit now. I got here, I looked around, and then the fog kind of burned off. But listen, a morning stroll through an old cemetery in the morning fog during fall, whew, can't get much better than that. This next stone really captured my eye because of also the detail work, but there's a little bit of fine detail I really wanted to point out to you. So obviously it's got the draped cloth around the top, and then the scroll-like fold up at the bottom. But then there's this single flower petal etched into the stone that through all of the years it's been here just stands so beautifully. I can't really make out a lot of what it says, but it is a striking stone. Plus, if you go to the rear of the stone, it's just as detailed, with little leaves and vines around it, stonework pattern, and again, the draping cloth over the top. Because you can have the biggest, largest stone in a cemetery, and while that is impressive, it's sometimes the smallest stones that have the most impressive work done on them, the more intricate design. Here we have a family plot. We can see our mother, our father on the larger one, which is marking the burial sites of 2 folks, and then more stones next to them. The next one we're going to look at kind of fascinated me because I didn't notice exactly this detail the first time I was walking by it, but I want to show you guys this. So here's the gravestone, which is super ornate and nice, and it's for William, son of William F. Hudson. And I love the stonework. As you can see, the detail on the ornate flowering is awesome. But then I thought we had 2 or 4 different smaller graves around it, but it's not, because I noticed these hooks on them, and what it does is these 4 markers, I assume, used to have a chain around them, because as you can see, this one has 2 hooks. And so that plot is actually much bigger than I originally thought. So I'm not sure if it was meant to be a whole family plot and just one of the graves was put on there, or if there are many others buried in this section that just their markers have been lost to time. As you can see, spared no expense. These are not cheap. These are metal plaques that give the history of the people buried here, as well as on some of the stones that have just deteriorated so bad you cannot really read or make out what they say. They have replacements basically that tell you what they were, what they did say, and the details behind that person. I found that really cool and helpful in kind of looking around and seeing what the history of this place was and kind of the people around it. Having those markers be, you know, preserved in some form or fashion, not by removing the original marker and destroying that piece of history, but just by adding to, so that that story is not lost. Unfortunately, that happened way after the fact that all the wooden markers deteriorated, so that's kind of a bummer. Here's another one, an obelisk that is toppled over off of its base for Romer, but the history of Romer is still here. All right, I gotta get back on the road, but I am so happy that I stopped here at Buena Vista Cemetery. Like I said, it's beautiful out here. I couldn't have asked for better weather, better scenery. I have taken pictures of all the plaques so that I can review the history of the area, and I hope you guys will as well.